Right then, hello everyone, and welcome along to GXL Tier 2. Just the greatest league in the Milky Way. That's the solar system we're in? Oh, I think that's the solar system we're in. So yeah, we're here for round 12 of the championship, here under the lights at Singapore. So yeah, 12 rounds of the championship. Racing Point lead the constructors. Racing Point lead the constructors and the drivers. Lucas leading the championship, and he's currently fastest by 0.6 of a second. Come on, guys, you need to step it up. We don't want it to look like he's dominating. But like, so yeah, that's what's happening right now. Singapore, I'd imagine there's going to be some crashes because it's a street circuit and it's tight and it's twisty and it's narrow. So yeah, so Lucas is leading the championship by over 50 points, which I would say is probably quite obvious by the fact that he's leading. Well, he's got provisional pole position by over half a second, as I said. So, so yeah, that's yeah. Hope Tier 2 is going to be more competitive next season. So hopefully he doesn't dominate. Magma Beast, who's continuing his decent run of form, he's currently second, and then the man who is second in the championship, F1 Union, here he is as he cuts turn 1 on, I believe he's in lap. Yeah, he's currently third fastest, just 1/10 behind Magma Beast. He's just ahead of EP Nick on the provisional second row of the grid, ahead of the only Red Bull here today, Fliniesta in, well yeah, he's won the last 2 races in a row. So Fliniesta, he's on a brilliant run of form at the moment. Then come the 2 Mercedes, Mr. Fisby and GH Racing in 6th and 7th, ahead of Sharky, the Tier 1 commentator, and YOLO Boy in 9th in McLaren. Then the second Racing Point of Original Blazers, who's a little bit out of place there, in 10th place ahead of Carbro. Josh, who's a candidate stepping in for this one race ahead of Chicken Rosary. And then last but not least, the 2 Hasses, which are yet to set a lap time. You can see here's one of them out on track at the moment. Shiv Sangani, currently 15th with no time on the board. The only man out of 2 which haven't got time. Yeah, the other man, as I said, is his teammate VSL Spen in 14th place, just ahead of him. So yeah, these 2 will want to get a time on the board. VSL Spen hasn't actually left the pits yet. So yeah, that will be a little bit disastrous for him if he starts so low down. And Fliniesta now goes fastest with a 34.3, 1/10 quicker than Lucas. What a lap from Fliniesta. He is on such a good run of form at the moment. He hasn't got a teammate for this race. As I said, Bryony is absent for this round. So Fliniesta, he doesn't need to worry about pit stop strategies. He can just go out there and do what he wants. And he's got no pressure on him because he's pretty much out of the championship fight. And he's just doing brilliantly. He's taken the last 2 wins on time penalties from Lucas. So yeah, a bit of deja vu from the last 2 rounds. But now the question is, can Lucas strike back? Because the gap is only a 10.5 between them. So it definitely can change. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go as Lucas is on his outlap right now, warming them tyres. Under the bridge he goes into the right-hander. Red light flashing at the back of that Racing Point shows that he is harvesting energy for his lap to come. We'll ride on board with him for this lap because why not? We haven't done that in a while. His Original Blazers has retired actually, so he's going to be starting 10th at best. But here we go then. Lucas, DRS wide open as we go down the main straight. Yellow flags for his teammate. He won't have to slow down for those though. Into turn 1, which is a fast left-hander, then through the right-hander, which is very, very difficult to get correctly. But Lucas has got a very, very nice run through there. Now into the right-hander. If you go too wide on that entry, you can get invalidated, and it's always very, very annoying. Now this very, very long straight with the DRS enabled through the right-handed curve, easily flat out, then on the brakes into the left-hander, and it's 2.5 tenths up for Lucas so far. Into the right hand, you want to kiss that apex perfectly. Don't use the curb though, because it can put you offline. Now into the left hander, very easy to understeer here and hit that wall, but Lucas hasn't done so. Under the Rolex advertisement, now into what was the slingshot chicane. Very, very difficult, very, very twisty. We've got a little bit of traffic ahead of us. Carbro in the Alfa Romeo, but he should get out of the way. Now over the bridge we go. Carbro does get out of the way into the hairpin. Lucas getting a nice run through there. You want to get a good exit onto this back straight with DRS once again for the third and final time in this lap. He's now 3.5 tenths up as we go through sector 2 into sector 3. Gets a good exit now into the last sequence of corners. Right-hander, Nice, and don't want to use too much of that curve on the inside, otherwise you can invalidate. Now through this tunnel, want to get as close to that inside wall as you possibly can. Lucas could have been a little bit more committed, but playing it nice and safe. Now into the chicane. Has quite a nice run there. Could have abused the curves a little bit more. Now into the final corner. You want to abuse that inside curve as much as you can. Lucas gets a clean run, and it is fastest for Lucas in the racing point by over 0.3 of a second. And Fleniesta's in the pits, so he is not going to be challenging Lucas for that position. Actually, I think we may have a timing glitch because Lucas has, Flynn, sorry, has just exited the pit lane. Yeah, he's definitely not going to get around in 20 seconds. So, yeah, Lucas has now retired. He is done and dusted in this session. So, let's see. Can Fleniesta steal this back from Lucas then? And also, don't count out this man, the Magma Beast, in the Ferrari. But, to be fair, he's on the mediums, though, interestingly. That's different. We haven't seen anyone else using those yellow-walled medium tyres, so that would be interesting. A little bit of interesting strategy. I did hear from Magma Beast that he was going for a one-stop today. So yeah, if you don't start on the softs, if you start on the mediums, then you go for a one-stop. If you start on softs, it's more than likely going to be a two-stop, unless there's a safety car. I think. And then F1 Union, he could even steal something back at this point. He's nearly a 10th up through the first sector, as VSL Spen now goes third fastest in the Haas, so he finally puts a time on the board for himself. It's into the top three, second row of the grid for the Haas, and his teammate has put a time on the board as well. He's 8th fastest with a 35.4. So yeah, F1 Union though, who actually he's just invalidated, so that could be his session done, and he's only 5th at the moment, so he's going to have to try and get a little bit better than that, as Magma Beast has now retired from the session, as has Shiv Sangani, and yeah, they haven't made the flag. So yeah, I was right. We don't have a timing glitch, and they've not made the flag. So Fleniesta isn't going to improve. F1 Union's not going to improve. VSL Spen, he's going slowly, so he's definitely not going to improve. So the only people we have left then, really, well, firstly, we got Nick in the Williams through the final corner for him. He's currently 7th fastest. He crosses the line, goes 3rd fastest. Nice lap there from the Williams. Next driver to come across the line is Sharky, but he's pitting, so nothing to report from him. Now, we got a little bit of traffic in these final couple of corners. I think it's okay, though, so it will be Carbro coming across. No, it was F1 Union. He's pitted. Mr. Fistfeet across the line. He doesn't improve. What about his teammate? Oh, actually, no, we got Chicken Rosary. He's actually pitting as well. No one's doing their lap times. So I believe it's just GH Racing then to wait for it. He runs wide and he invalidates on the final corner, and that is GH Racing session done. He is 10th fastest, and so then it is Lucas on pole position for the gazillionth time this season, with Fleniesta alongside him on the front row. Also, something to point out, Carbro, he's having his first race on wheel today, so that's why he has a bit of a lack of pace. Right then, so that is it for qualifying. And we will now be going on to the race. 50% of course. I believe it's about 36 laps, but I don't really know. Lucas on pole position by nearly half a second. What a lap from Lucas. Although, to be fair, Fleniesta, he wasn't able to complete his final flying lap. So yeah. Yeah, but I know Lucas is very, very good at this track. I trained him myself here, because I used to practice with him quite a long time ago. So yeah, Chicken Rosary, 7 seconds off the pace. Dear oh dear. I don't think that's a realistic showing of his actual pace. So hopefully he's not that far off in qualifying. So yeah, so now we just wait, and then we'll get on the grid for the formation lap. I'll go through it for you. Go through the grid. Right then, there we go. We're on the grid. So then, away we go for the formation lap. Lucas is on pole position. Actually, no, I wanna get the better. There we go. There's the better camera angle. Okay, so Lucas is on pole position. Alongside him on the front row is F1GXL in the Red Bull. Then EP Nick with his. Oh dear, what's gone on at the back? You've got 3 drivers disqualified. Great. Okay. So yeah, EP Nick, he's third on the second row of the grid, ahead of VSL and Carbo's left the session. Let's invite him back. They're a bit disruptive. I'm just trying to go through the grid. So then, VSL Sven, he's fourth ahead of Magma Beast in the Ferrari, ahead of the Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo. Then comes Sharky in the AlphaTauri, ahead of Shiv Sangani. Then the 2 Mercedes in 9th and 10th. And YOLO Boy, the first of the drivers with a free choice of strategy. Then there's Original Blazers, Josh and Carbo, who've all been disqualified, so I can't show them. Then last but not least, Chicken Rosary in the Renault. Okay, here we go. Lights are on. They're not in sync though. When that N on the steering wheel changes to a 1, there it goes. So imagine that there are 5 lights for GXL Tier 2. It's lights out and away we go. And I think F1GXL got slight. No, he didn't actually. My bad. EP Nick with a really good start. He's up to second place. F1GXL dropping down. He's being challenged by VSL Spen as we go into the left-hander. But I think he's just about managed to hold on to third position. Now Magma Beast trying to have a go to get into fourth position. And I think he has. Yes, he has. Magma Beast up into fourth ahead of VSL Spen. But Lucas leads then. EP Nick, F1GXL, Magma Beast, VSL Spen the top 5, head of F1 Union, Sharky, Fisfi, Shiv Sangani, Josh into the top 10. GH Racing, he's not had a good start, he's down to 11th. So there we go then. Such a very clean start, I'm very surprised. Into the right-hander we go. Oh, it's getting a little bit close towards the back there. I think that was now Fatari of Sharky coming under pressure from Mr. Fisfi, but seemed to be okay for the time being, as we got yellow flags at the back now, and there's been a tangle, I believe. Yes, there has, between Chicken Rosary and YOLO Boy. So they have got damage, and they are quite a long way out of contention, and I believe actually YOLO Boy has gotten away with it. It doesn't look like he's got damage. Chicken Rosary, on the other hand, does have damage, so he's going to need to box. But everyone else is through most of the first lap fairly okay. Lucas still leads the way by almost 1 full second now, ahead of EP Nick, then F1GXL, who's dropped down 1 position off the start, as that's a brilliant camera angle, isn't it just? As now we're on board with VSL Spen, who's nearly got into 4th place, but unfortunately for him, Magma Beast just managed to slip back past him and stay ahead. These cars obviously both Ferrari powered, although it doesn't make much of a difference in this game because of course it's equal. So there we go then. That is the first lap. Everyone is through safely, apart from, of course, the 2 at the back, and something's happened actually a bit further back, I think, because we got more drivers a bit far off. So something's happened to these 3, because these 3, they're quite a long way off everyone else. And then GH Racing is in as well, so he's got front wing damage. I didn't realise something had happened to him. I'm not sure. I know he's streaming his races, so if you want to, check out GH Racing 1 on Twitch. And so yeah, and Carbo has actually been disqualified. What the hell? Oh, I wonder if he didn't move off the start, because I think he disconnected. Oh dear. So yeah, we've lost one runner already then. So we're down to 14 drivers left in this Grand Prix. And look at Iniesta. He is challenging EP Nick as we go into what was the Sling Chicane. Very easy to get that wrong. There's a little bit of barrier on the entry that actually sticks out. And if you hit that, then that's not good. But it's not as bad as hitting the wall on the inside, as Iniesta locks his right front wheel. But didn't cost him too much, thankfully for him. As now, look at this, VSL Spen challenging Magma Beast as we go down towards the right-hander. And before the right-hander actually arrives, VSL Spen is ahead of Magma Beast and up into 4th place. What a move from the Haas driver. He's back up into the top 4 positions, but Magma Beast is all over his gearbox. Has a bit of a lock-up, though, and that's put him on the back foot. And now F1 Union is trying to have a go at him. He's very, very close. But of course, there's no overtaking opportunities in this part of the track as we go under the tunnel, into the tunnel in Sector 3. So yeah, overall, that's quite a surprisingly clean start. We haven't got a single track retirement apart from Carbo, but he's been disqualified, and I don't think that was his fault. So as now actually Original Blade. Oh, Shiv Sangani has got damage. Oh, he's hit the pit wall. Oh dear. Oh, and he's been reset to track. Oh no, and now he's going to have to suffer for the rest of this lap without a front wing. That is disaster for Shiv Sangani, and now we've got position changes up the field. Iniesta is ahead of EP Nick and up into 2nd place. That's a great move from the Red Bull driver, and in the background now we've got 3 drivers battling for 1 position. F1 Union goes down the inside of Sharky, but Sharky's got that extra grip off the corner, but now, oh, that is very, very, very close. But Sharky stays ahead of F1 Union, stays in 6th place, and Mr. Fisby also trying to have a go at F1 Union as we head down towards the chicane. No way through there. Red light is flashing on the back of F1 Union's Alfa Romeo, so that means he's conserving energy. He's not going to be very quick, as now Chicken Rosary has retired from the session, so now we're left with 13 drivers. Not been the greatest turnout, I have to say. But overall, it's been fairly clean, but we are only 3 laps in, so yeah, I can't really say a lot. I'll put the rest of the graphics on now. I don't need that. Yeah, that's it. So there we go then, as VSL Spen now, the first driver in this race to get a 3-second time penalty. The man in 4th position. Wonder if that will cost him towards the end of this race. Here he is on the back of EP Nick. EP Nick has been slowly dropping down since the start, and he's all out of shape through there. Be careful through here. Oh, EP Nick! EP Nick has spun! Oh no! That is disaster! Oh dear, and he's collected F1 Union, who's also spun and got damage. Luckily for EP Nick, he hasn't got damage, I don't think he touched any walls, so he's going to be okay. But F1 Union, on the other hand, he does have damage, and he goes off the track as well. Original Blazers goes through, and he's going to have to pit, I believe, for repairs, but it doesn't look like he's too bothered about that damage, because he's trying to get back past Original Blazers right in front of him. But he's got 5% of ERS, so I don't think he'll be able to. And now Shiv Sangani is in the pit lane. Wonder if he's going to be retiring. I'm not sure. Hopefully not. I don't think he is, thankfully, so that's nice. But yeah, so I don't think that was really anyone's fault. EP Nick, he was so out of shape in that final sector. I don't know why. Like, every corner he was putting the power down and just had nothing. Has he got damage, actually? No, he hasn't. So yeah, he's completely fine. I just don't know why he was so loose. But yeah, and it's unfortunate. It's cost F1 Union. But I'm not sure if F1 Union may have already been having his own issue before that even happened. So yeah, I'm just having a look at the Discord now to see if anything happens. Yeah, so no one's too angry with each other at the moment, so that's nice. Oh, it's now, look, Lucas is in, and he gets a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane. Oh dearie me, this is starting to look very, very much like the last 2 races now. with Lucas getting time penalties, and of course that's not removed, because if you speed into the pit lane, it's your own fault. And now we got yellow flags at turn 1. Is that Sharky? Yes, it is. Sharky is facing the wrong way. What's happened here? And he has, I think he's avoided the barriers. Yes, he has. So yeah, he's still got a full front wing, so he'll be able to rejoin fairly well and get back underway. But that is going to cost him a whole heap of time, and he's now down to 8th. There's now, look, EP Nick is in, as is F1 Union. Of course, F1 Union got that damaged lap before, and now I think Sharky's lost it again. Yes, he has, and if I'm not mistaken, I would say that's because he's overheated his tyres with spinning himself back round when he had his previous spin. So I'm not sure if he's had contact with someone to cause that first spin, or if it was just him lighting up the rear tyres and spinning it round. So yeah, it's not sure what's happened there to Sharky. Let's head back up to the order then. We've got a bit of train forming here behind Magma Beast, and actually Mr. Fisby doesn't want to be behind the train of Magma Beast, and he's got DRS and he's trying to go for the move. Magma Beast gives him the old squeeze towards left-hand side. Mr. Fisby, he says, okay, I'll go this way then. Doesn't quite work, and now he's under a bit of pressure from Josh behind the candidate on his Tier 2 debut, and he's looking great to maybe get a full-time seat in this tier if he keeps this stuff up, as he's currently running in 5th place. One of the few drivers to have started on the medium tyres as we go through under the bridge into the chicane. Mr. Fisby still cannot find a way past Magma Beast, and now Fliniesta has pitted then, and Mr. Fisby and Magma Beast both pit as well. Clatters the curb, does Magma Beast. Slows it down though, unlike Lucas, and doesn't get a 5-second time penalty. Unlike Mr. Fisby, who has, unfortunately, into the pits he comes. He's not going to serve that this time. No, he isn't. So yeah, the Mercedes mechanic do serve him in about 2.6 seconds. So he is going to be okay, but that may cost him towards the end of the race, unless he can get it removed. But I don't think he can, because it is his own mistake. So yeah, VSL Spen then, the new race leader, one of the few drivers to have an actual track limit time penalty. He leads this race from Josh on his Tier 2 debut, with Original Blazers right behind him. So I wonder if Kieran, in that racing point, he smells 2nd place at the moment. It's not actually 2nd place, because of course these drivers haven't pitted yet. So yeah, but Josh is doing really well under so much pressure at the moment from someone like Original Blazers, who's actually won a race in this tier in this season. I believe it was the 2nd round of the season. He hasn't won since. So yeah, Original Blazers, he definitely wants to get back on that winning form. He's currently chasing 2nd place, as meanwhile Shiv Sangani towards the back has set the fastest lap of the race, so he is definitely on a comeback drive. And I believe we've got quite a few drivers around here. Yeah, we've got F1 Union up behind GH Racing. Both of these drivers have had damage in this race. GH Racing pitting on lap 1, F1 Union a couple of laps later after crashing at the final corner after an incident with EP Nick. But yeah, on board with F1 Union, he's going to have DRS down this next straight. Hello! And that is definitely not what you want to do. He clatters the inside curb, and I think he had a bit of a touch with the inside barrier, and that has put him on very much on the back foot, and he's definitely not going to find a way past GH Racing now. But that was his own fault, I believe. GH Racing, he was perfectly in the right there. As now VSL Spen is into the pits. Soft tyres going on to the Haas. He's going to rejoin in 6th position with Fliniesta a couple of seconds up the road from him, as now EP Nick gets a 3-second time penalty. We're only 7 laps into this 31-lap race. Feels like we've got quite a long way to go. So yeah, Josh now leads this race with Original Blazers right up behind him. But for how much longer? Oh, that was close. Original Blazers goes into the back of Josh, and now into the right-hander we go. Original Blazers tries to find a way past. Josh leaves him room, but there's no way through for the racing point, and he stays behind Josh for the time being as we go now towards the chicane, which is far less dangerous than it used to be, but still very, very treacherous if you get it wrong. Josh runs slightly wide. That's going to put him offline as we go over the bridge out into the hairpin. Will they be side by side? Yes, they are. Original Blazers tries to go round the outside. Josh shows him the door, but there is no way through just yet. But now Original Blazers with DRS. He's going to try and make the move on the Ferrari. Not quite close enough. What about Lucas in the 2nd racing point? A couple of seconds behind, trying to get past YOLO Boy, who had that contact on lap 1 with Chicken Rosary. Which I believe in the end caused Chicken Rosary to retire with too much damage. But he's currently 3rd with the championship leader right up behind him as we go through the tunnel, which isn't really much of a tunnel. It's It's kind of a tunnel. But yeah, YOLO Boy holding his position nicely at the moment. Of course, he's going to get DRS from Original Blazers, who is less than a second up the road, I believe. So that is helping him stay ahead of Lucas here. But actually, for how much longer? Because Lucas has got really, really good drive out of the final corner. And when the next corner arrives, he is ahead. So Lucas now up into third place ahead of YOLO Boy, who's on much older tyres than him. So yeah, nice move there from the second racing point, albeit fairly easy, but he has lost quite a bit of time due to being stuck behind the McLaren. But here we go then for round maybe 5 by this point. Original Blazers versus Josh. I don't think he's going to be close enough unless he's very, very late on the brakes, and no, he's not. He plays it safe, can't find a way through there. But has he got the better exit out of the left-hander? He thought about it, he was looking for it down the inside, can't find a way past that Ferrari just yet, as now Chicken Rosary's left the session, which I'm surprised he stayed in the session that long, to be honest. And now, due to Original Blazers trying to get past Josh, he's put himself on a back foot, and Lucas had closed right up to the back of him. So the top 3 in this. Whoa! Original Blazers! He's lost it on traction, and he's now facing backwards out of the tunnel, and that's a very, very dangerous place to be facing backwards. Iniesta goes past, Lucas goes past, and dear, oh, he's lost his full front wing, and that is a safety car. Oh, that is a surprise. So that has saved Original Blazers. It could have been much, well, of course it hasn't really saved him because he's got a full front wing missing, but it could have been much, much worse, and that is the full safety car deployed. Too much debris on the racing line, and so Original Blazers is going to pit for a fresh front wing, and that has not helped his teammate very much, because the drivers that have stayed out, which are Josh, YOLO Boy, and that's it actually. So yeah, that's going to help them, but it's definitely not helped Lucas, because he's going to have drivers with fresh tyres on behind him. So yeah, Josh and YOLO Boy, they take advantage of this safety car then, and they come into the pits. Lap 9 of 31. Medium tyres going on for both cars. Josh gets out ahead of YOLO Boy, retains his track position, and also Original Blazers obviously comes in to change that front wing. There's the McLaren boys going in. Racing Point boys definitely not going in, as there they are then. Medium tyres going on and a fresh front wing, and I'm afraid that was Original Blazers' fault. He just lit up the rear tyres, and yeah, the car just couldn't cope with it, and he spun around. Maybe any other track he would have been able to get away with it, but not here. It's so tight and narrow. You just cannot get away with that kind of stuff, unfortunately. So yeah, also into the pits is Mr. Fisfy. Both Mercedes in actually, one going for softs, the other goes for hards, so differentiating strategies between the two Mercedes. These two, they do usually party up. Not this week though, because I believe George didn't want to party because he's streaming his race on Twitch. So yeah, so then we're now behind the safety car. Lucas leads the race, which seems like a familiar story, but he does now have Iniesta right on his gearbox, so this could be interesting. Iniesta with that one lap fresher tyre, and also someone that's worth bearing in mind, VSL Spen, who's got the softs on. He could be a contender in this race, because he's going to be very, very quick at this point in time. Magma Beast is running 4th, just ahead of EP Nick. Then the second Ferrari of Josh, who's taken full advantage of this safety car. He's running 6th, ahead of YOLO Boy, F1 Union, Original Blazers, and Shiv Sangani. They complete the top 10. I'm now going to have a look at the Discord to see if anyone's angry. No one's angry, so that's good. A bit of shock to the fact that Original Blazers spun. But yeah, other than that, everyone's not trying to kill each other, so yeah, that's good. So yeah, safety car is deployed. If you're just joining us, it's because Original Blazers, who we're watching at the moment, as he goes through the right-hander, he spun, and his front wing puts a lot of debris on the track. So yeah, we're now under safety car, as we shall remain under safety car for the next about 2 or 3 laps. So yeah, we should be getting underway fairly soon. Just not yet, as actually we've got a little bit of a kerfuffle going on towards the front. Everyone's warming their tyres, looking a little bit like a snake as we go down the main straight. Luckily no one's killing each other, so that's nice. So yeah, we're just waiting on GH Racing, who is, I would say, on the wrong strategy, because hards can I think mediums could probably go to the end from here. Maybe. It would be close, but I think they can do it. So yeah, and the second Mercedes as well, and Sharky, and also Shiv Sangani. So once these 4 have caught up, which they will have very, very soon, we will be able to get the safety car into the pits and get racing once again. So yeah, not too much longer to wait. And then, so yeah, we will be getting underway. 13 runners left in this race. Chicken Rosary and Carbro, the only 2 retirements. Chicken Rosary due to damage, Carbro due to his connection failing him, and he was disqualified on the grid. So yeah, only 1 actual damage-related retirement. Other than that, it's been a fairly clean race. The only crashes we've really seen have been self-inflicted. So yeah, not really contact-related. We had EP Nick and F1 Union both spinning in the same at the same corner on the same lap, and EP Nick got away with it. F1 Union did not and got front wing damage. We also had Original Blazers who spun and lost his front wing, which is why we're under safety car, as I already said. It was at this corner here, so there we go. So should be safety car in this lap. I'm not fully sure. It could be out for another lap or 2. We just got to wait for that notification, and yep, there it is. Bottom left hand corner of your screen, safety car in this lap. The lights are out on the top of the Mercedes SLR? No, actually, no, it's a GTR, isn't it? The safety car version is a GTR, so yeah, the Mercedes AMG GTR roars away, and so Lucas will restart the race then, with Fliniesta right on his gearbox behind him. So then, lap 10 of 31, going on to lap 11. One to watch, I would say, is VSL Spen on the softs, so that will be interesting. I really want to see a good battle for the lead here. We don't want to see Lucas dominating, although it is nice to see Lucas happy and winning and stuff. It is a bit boring from my point of view and all of your point of views. So, of course, we would like to see a bit more action. And I believe Lucas has gone now. Yes, he has. Through the final corner we go then. Look how close VSL Spen is. He oh! Magma Beast! Magma Beast has spun round in the Ferrari. And that is disastrous restart for the Magma Beast. He has spun round already. And I'm not sure if he had contact with anyone or not. But he is now at the back of the pack in 13th. He's got... Oh! And now Fliniesta has got all out of shape on the exit there. And that's allowed VSL Spen to get past up into second place. And now EP Nick is going to try and have a go at Fliniesta as well. I don't think he's quite close enough though. Fliniesta though, he's going to try and come back at VSL Spen as we go into the braking zone. Not quite close enough to get the move done and back up into second place. Sorry, I had to have a drink of water there. My throat's quite dry at the moment. So Lucas still leads, VSL Spen up to second, then Fliniesta down to third place with EP Nick right on his gearbox, Josh just behind him, now the lead Ferrari ahead of YOLO Boy, F1 Union, Original Blazers, Shiv Sangani and Sharky. So yeah, Magma Beast, I don't think he got damage, or he might have actually, it's very difficult to tell from that angle. But judging by how closely he's running to GH Racing, this is very, very close, into the hairpin, I think he's still got a full front wing. So Magma Beast is going to be able to continue onwards. Yes, he has still got a full front wing. So there we go. Confirmation then that Magma Beast is okay and he will be able to continue onwards. But that was a bad moment for the Ferrari driver, as now Original Blazers gets a time penalty. I'll put the time penalties up so you can see how much time penalties drivers have. Lucas, 5 seconds. Spen 3 seconds, 3 seconds for Nick, 3 seconds for Original Blazers, 8 seconds for Shiv Sangani and 3 seconds for the Magma Beast. The majority of the grid hasn't got a time penalty yet. We'll have to see if that changes towards the end of the race. And now we've got yellow flags at the back. They get cleared away quite quickly. And is that Shiv Sangani? Yes, it is. Front wing damage once again. And another 5 second. Oh no. Shiv Sangani, if he doesn't retire now, I'm going to be very... Yeah, he does retire. Oh dear, it's not been Shiv Sangani's race today. He's just gotten time penalty after time penalty, damage after damage, and he retires from the race on lap 12 of 31. 12 runners left in the race, and look at this, Fliniesta trying to come back at VSL Spen into the braking zone. Can't quite get it done. The Haas stays ahead for the time being, who are now riding on board with. I'm surprised actually. I thought VSL Spen would be roaring off down the road after Lucas, but instead Fliniesta is staying right with the Haas and still trying to get past. He could have a go into the hairpin, which we're coming towards now. Actually, he's not had a great run through there, so he's not going to be quite close enough. Locks his right front wheel. Doesn't cost him any time, though. And he's also got to be wary because EP Nick is not too far behind him. VSL Spen with the soft compound tyre gets a very good exit out of the hairpin, which gives him just enough overspeed on the Red Bull to stay ahead for the time being. Josh, also, I'm very surprised. He's having a very good debut race. At the moment, he's got a YOLO boy right behind him. He actually runs slightly wide there. It's put him a bit further back than he would have been. So yeah, Josh is having a very good race in his Tier 2 debut. I didn't expect this much from him. I should have expected more because he's running a great race at the moment in 5th place. Into the final corner we go, and YOLO boy, he's just not looking very confident. Like, you can see it as we're riding on board with him. He's just about stayed within 1 second, so he will have DRS to close back up to Josh. But he's just not driving with a lot of commitment. He looks very hesitant as he enters the corners. Now, look at this. Original Blazers and F1 Union going side by side. Jaden versus Kieran into the right-hander, and it looks like Original Blazers has performed a brilliant switchback out there. They've both got DRS, so they're going to be fairly even as we go down the main straight. Now Sharky's trying to get involved as well. F1 Union pulls over to the right-hand side, and when he does so, Original Blazers is ahead and up into 7th place. What a move from Original Blazers, especially when his rival had DRS as well. So Original Blazers, he's on a charge right now. He wants to get back up the order, and also Sharky, he's trying to have a go at F1 Union. F1 Union, unpopular opinion, or maybe a popular opinion, I don't know. I think he's probably the worst for saving ERS on the grid. And I don't mean that as like a jab at him, although it's not a good thing, but I don't mean that to like offend him or anything. But like, if you look at this, Sharky's got 50%, F1 Union's got 5%. And then Original Blazers, he's not doing too great either, but he's still got more than F1 Union. So yeah, I think I've noticed that with Jaden's driving quite often. He doesn't save a lot of ERS, but yeah, it's just not working out too badly for him at the moment. He's running in 8th place, so yeah, we've got a bit of a train forming now behind Josh. YOLO boy is struggling to get past that Ferrari, which he's been stuck behind now for a very, very long time. He's got the DRS, but he's just not been quite close enough to be able to use it. As now further up the road, we've got Fliniesta chasing VSL Spen down the main straight with the DRS. Isn't quite able to get the move done. Whoa, that was a moment for VSL Spen. Fliniesta is now going to sneak up the inside of the Haas. A little bit of rubbing between them. Should be okay though. Into the right-hander we go. VSL Spen is compromised on his entry. That's going to give Fliniesta the exit and the DRS. So he is going to fly past that Haas now. He's got the inside line for the right-hand curve, and he is ahead. But for how much longer? VSL Spen tries to come back down the inside. Now EP Nick trying to go around the outside of VSL Spen and gets it done actually with a little bit of Tokyo drifting. But nice move there from EP Nick in the Williams, and he's ahead of VSL Spen. So those soft tyres have seriously dropped off now. And look at this. Now YOLO boy has gotten ahead of Josh and up into 5th place for the McLaren driver, who was backwards at the end of lap 1. He's now running back up in 5th place. But for how much longer? Because oh, contact! Original Blazers! Oh no, that is, oh dear. Original Blazers, what are you doing today? Oh, dearie me. Okay. I'm a little bit speechless after that, Kieran. That was not your finest moment. Definitely not. So yeah, Josh spins round after being hit up the back from Original Blazers. Oh dear. That's a real shame, because he was doing quite well, and it's caused a major chain reaction there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Original Blazers now retires from the race as well, and we'll be left with 11 runners. So yeah, it caused a major. I apologise for swearing on. Actually, I'm not going to swear on stream. That's not right. I nearly did. And look at this now. Sharky's having a go at F1 Union. This is going to be tight. Into turn 1 we go. That was close. Oh, and it has ended up with Sharky spinning round, and he has spun round this corner before. If I'm honest though, that was quite a late move, and he gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Yeah, that was not Sharky's finest moment either, I don't think. He should have waited for this much longer back straight, as now the two Ferraris are battling. Mangabeast gets ahead of Josh and up into 8th place. I'm gonna, oh god, I feel really bad for Josh. He was doing really well, and he's now down to 9th place and behind his teammate. So yeah, F1 Union trying to have a go at Mr. Fistfeet as we go through the chicane. We're now almost halfway into the race, 15 of 31. So, oh my god, it's raining. Oh my god, it's raining. Oh, an F1 Union goes down the inside of Mr. Fisfy. That is an opportunistic move. Oh god, it's raining. It's actually raining. Oh no. I'm actually genuinely terrified. And now Original Blizzard's crashed again. So, yeah, he's going to retire. Oh my god. It's raining. Oh god. We're going to have like 5 finishes. We're genuinely going to have 5 finishes in a moment. Right then. Under the tunnel we go. We're on board with GH Racing, who is going to be in the worst situation at the moment because he's on the hards, and the hards are the worst tyre to have during the wet weather. So, and he's actually hit the barrier just slightly there. That might be a little bit of damage, but not very much. And so DRS is still enabled for the time being. It's still slick tyres, but yeah, for how much longer I wonder as Sharky now retires from the race as well. So now we'll go 11 runners left, and I would imagine we'll have 10 in a moment when Original Blazers retires as well. So yeah, this could change it up with this wet weather, and also something that's worth bearing in mind: Fliniesta on the back of Lucas for the lead of the race. So this could get very, very spicy. But if I was Fliniesta, I would want to get the move done now and want to get it done sooner rather than later, because once it goes to intermediate weather, overtaking just becomes, how do I say that, impossible. That's the one word I would use to describe it. So you'd want to get the move done now, but he's just not quite close enough to get it done, unfortunately, for the Red Bull driver. It's also worth bearing in mind EP Nick is not too far off these two either. 2.3 seconds is the gap. As you can see on the left-hand corner of your screen, and something's happened now because Mr. Fisfy and Magma Beast are going side by side. Careful, lads! It's raining, so I'm sure they know. But yeah, and actually they haven't crashed, so that's nice. Magma Beast is ahead of Mr. Fisfy and up into 7th place, and he's now got more Ferrari troubles. Has Mr. Fisfy? He's got Josh right on his gearbox as we go under the bridge, the only part of the track which probably is dry. Josh, he could still get good points today. As Mr. Fisfy gets a little bit out of shape there on the exit. Not quite close enough for Josh to get the move done, though, on the 8th place driver. But here he goes now with the ERS. Mr. Fisfy tries to cover it off, but he's just not quite close enough. And when the apex arrives, Josh is ahead of Mr. Fisfy and up into 8th place. Josh is... I need to give this man a well-done message. And now look at the two Mercedes going side by side. GH Racing is now ahead of his teammate Mr. Fisfy. And by the way, Original Blazers hasn't given up. He's on the intermediates. He's gone a lap down now, but at least he's not given up. Will Mr. Fisfy try and come back at GH Racing? I wonder. No, he doesn't. He's not close enough. Like, he's nowhere near. So yeah, I'm surprised actually that George's hard tyres are better than Mr. Fisfy's soft tyres as we go through the right-hander. Actually has a... Oh my god! I know that George's heart rate just went through the roof on the exit of that corner because he nearly flew straight into a barrier. But luckily for him, he's kept going in the right direction, and he's not going to get front wing damage for the second time in this race. So we're now on board with the Original Blazers. He's the only driver out there on the Inters, and I don't think it's time for Inters just yet, by the looks of it. It will be soon, as he nearly actually did what he did to cause the first safety car. But yeah, Original Blazers, I don't think it's time for Inters yet, but he didn't really have much of a choice, otherwise he would have had to make 2 extra pit stops, unfortunately for him. So yeah, there is the other racing point of Lucas, who's leading the race, with the added pressure though of having Fliniesta, the driver that's won the last 2 races in this championship, right behind him. And he's actually leading this race on time penalties as well. And it's also worth bearing in mind, Lucas is going to have to serve that time penalty in the pits very, very soon. As now, actually, VSL Spen has something... Oh, he's in! He's into the pits! That's interesting. So VSL Spen, he has bit the bullet first, and he is going for Inters. He's the first of the drivers which are sort of, like, actually in the points to go for it, as has GH Racing as well, who's actually got front wing damage, actually. So I'm not sure what's happened there, and Original Blazers has spun at the final corner. I'm sure he's going to retire now. He has got front wing damage, so maybe he's going to just change it. But I would imagine he's going to retire. GH Racing on the Inters as well, as is VSL Spen, so it'll be interesting to see if these guys will be up to pace. Has VSL Spen just stopped? It looked like he stopped for a moment. But if I'm honest, I think it's a little bit too early for the Inters at this point. But we'll have to see. We'll ride on board with VSL Spen, and yeah, look how like slowly he's going through there. That just shows how little grip there is on those intermediates. So yeah, they're going to be losing a lot of time, but it's very close to the crossover point, I'll tell you that. Back to the battle for the lead. Lucas versus Iniesta. So, it's actually the two Ferraris are now battling. Josh is ahead, Magma Beast up into 6th place. Josh back up to, well, nearly back up to where he was before he got spun around by Original Blazers, and he's all over the back of the driver who's 2nd place in this championship, F1 Union. He's got quite a good exit out of there. Josh is doing really well on the traction. Like, I just saw like how much he gained on F1 Union and how much he gained on Magma Beast. Oh, that's definitely not a good way for F1 Union to be exiting that corner. Oh, he's hit the barriers, and now Josh has hit him, and I don't think that was damage, luckily for either of them. But definitely a hairy moment between the two drivers as Josh nearly gets the run on him. F1 Union is pitting, so he is another driver who thinks it's a good idea to go for Inters, but I think he may have damage actually as well. So yeah, I think he could just about salvage points from today, which, I mean, it's not that difficult because there's not many drivers out there. So yeah, Josh and Magma Beast continue on then on the slicks, as does everyone else, really. As look at this, EP Nick, Iniesta, all over the back of Lucas. Lucas is under a lot of pressure now from the Red Bull driver, who actually, as I was talking about the two Ferraris and F1 Union, Iniesta got a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult as VSL Spen retires? What? No! He was like, I mean, I know he was off, but he wasn't that far off. So yeah, now we're left with, oh, Lucas! Lucas has spun! Lucas has spun! Oh my god! Oh my god. Oh my god. Iniesta's going to get 3 in a row. Oh my god. 1 racing point spun there. Another 2nd racing point spins there. Oh my god. This is mad. So Lucas has lost the lead of this race due to a spin. That is very uncharacteristic of Lucas. And now it's not a good time to spin either, because I'm not sure how far away the crossover to Inters is, but if it's not right now, then Lucas is going to lose even more time. So this is absolute disaster for Lucas. It's been an absolute disaster for Racing Point in general, really. And the top 3 have all stayed out, so yeah, it's not time for Inters yet. And Lucas, he's going to have to struggle on Inters, because it's going to be, well, he can either struggle on Inters, or he can, well, make an extra pit stop, but I would imagine he'd rather struggle on Inters, as Magma Beast now gets back ahead of his teammate who's pitting. That's why he's pitting. He's going for Inters, so, and DRS is disabled, so actually maybe it is time for Inters, and this has worked out quite well. Obviously spinning is never working out well, but like it could have been worse. And yeah, there you can see as Josh drives past Lucas there. Intermediates going on, as does a fresh front wing, and I think now is the time for Inters. So then, what do the top 4, sorry. They are... What? How has YOLO Boy got ahead of Flynn? What's happened there? So, oh my god, I'm blind. And so now YOLO Boy is leading this race without time penalties. I'm a loss for words, a little bit. Because, like, we had Lucas leading the race and he was doing completely fine. Now we got YOLO Boy leading by about 3 seconds. No, mate, that 4.7. That's obviously adding time penalties on as well. Oh my god, this has changed the race completely. Obviously, haven't had a great turnout with terms of drivers, because we've only got 10 left. But like, this is cracking up the front. 11 laps to go. This is all to play for. But YOLO Boy, he is doing brilliant out there. Look at the gap he's gotten over Iniesta. He's just come from nowhere. But he may have a time penalty coming his way, though, because he had contact with Chicken Rosary on lap 1. So that could be a time penalty for him. So this is not done yet, as now Original Blazers has spun again. He's gone back onto slicks. What the hell? That's an interesting choice from Kieran, but yeah, we move. YOLO Boy's in, as is Flinier. It's definitely time for Inters now, so yeah, original place, that's so unlucky. But he's going to get points if he finishes this race, so yeah, so everyone's going for Inters now. Yeah, Magma Beast is going to be the... No way is he staying. He's staying out! That's not a good idea, I don't think. So yeah, he is going to lose absolute heaps of time. He may just about get the lead on track, I think, maybe. YOLO Boy is going to be very compromised because he's got to take a very, very tight line through turn 1. And yes, he does. Magma Beast takes the lead, but I would imagine not for very long, because you could see just how little grip he has on those slick tyres. We'll ride on board with Fliniesta. Look how much Fliniesta gains on one corner. That's actually not the best example because Fliniesta lost it out the corner. Ooh, that's going to be ballsy. And yeah, Magma Beast, he has to lift through there. That's how much those slick tyres are not working. So yeah, Magma Beast is in a very, very bad situation now because he is going to be losing absolute heaps of time on this lap. And he's practically a mobile chicane for the intermediate drivers as EP Nick flies around the outside of him back up into 3rd place. So yeah, a shock top 3. YOLO Boy, Fliniesta and Nick. I mean, 15 laps ago I wouldn't have imagined that. But yeah, it's really happening. Yeah, YOLO Boy is looking good to take his first Tier 2 win. But it's not over yet. As I said, he could get a time penalty. So we'll have to see how this one plays out, ladies and gentlemen. It's not over yet. As now, Lucas, the driver who was leading this race, who spun through this very corner, is trying to get back up into the top 5. How times do change for the racing point driver of Lucas. When it rains, it pours, I guess. And he's now trying to salvage what he can out of this race. So currently he's still ahead of his championship rival F1 Union, which is all that really matters for him. So it's not an ideal situation, but it's not disastrous. So yeah, Lucas can still salvage some good points today. He's currently 6th, looking to get past Josh and up into 5th. But yeah, we'll have to see. Lucas, he got very out of shape there. And now these two, we're gaining now on Magma Beast, who, yeah, he stayed out way too long. And into the pits he comes. Slick tyres will be coming off. Intermediates will be going on. But yeah, the damage is done. And Magma Beast is now, well, he'll be pretty much plumb last, I would imagine. Maybe ahead of... yeah, he might be ahead of Mr. Fisby and F1 Union, I would imagine. Oh, we got yellow flags. What's that for? Did they have contacts? I don't think... Oh, no, never mind. It's just original Blazers. I'm getting used to that now. When it does rain, it does pour for original Blazers. And for a second, I thought they would just stop raining for a second. But Lucas looks for the move on Josh. Will Josh leave him the space? It's close. It's close. Oh, Josh just about stays ahead by a touch. But Lucas... it was a bit of a late move. It was a bit of a late move, so I would imagine that's fair. Josh could have left him a little bit more room, but he did have the corner. He's fully ahead, so Lucas wasn't even halfway alongside. So will Lucas be able to get past here, though, as we go through the corner where Lucas did spin a couple of laps ago? If he can get a good exit out of here, he may be able to get ahead of the Ferrari in front of him, but he's got his overtake on at the wrong time, so that's going to create more wheel spin and make him lose more time, and he's just not able to find a way past that Ferrari. As I said, overtaking at this track when it rains, it's impossible. It just cannot be done. And now he nearly actually went into the back of Josh there, so that would not have been good if Josh had been spun for the 2nd time in one race. Yeah, under the bridge we go. Lucas, he just needs to get back ahead of Josh, really. No, he's not ahead of him on time penalties, so yeah, he needs to do them on track if he wants that 4th place. But yeah, I'm sure Lucas won't be too happy with this. I mean, unless we get a safety car, he is definitely out of contention for the win. But here he comes. He's got a lot of overspeed on Josh. Don't go for that! Oh! That was close, and luckily Josh left him just enough room, and I think Lucas is getting a little bit frustrated now behind the Ferrari of Josh as we go through the right-hander. Here's an opportunity, though. The big, long straight. If he can get a good exit out of here, and I think he has actually got quite a good exit, but Josh has got heaps and heaps and heaps of ERS, so he could be able to defend this. Oh, Lucas looks to the inside once again, and I think he may have this one done, and yes, he does. Josh leaves him enough room and enough respect, and Lucas is through and up to 4th. So nice move there from the racing point of Lucas, the championship leader, proving why he is the championship leader, and he's back up into the top 4. So let's see then what his pace is like now in the clear air, but I dare say 4th place is going to be the best he can manage with the gap that he has to the drivers ahead of him. The gap, by the way, for the lead has gone down. Let me have a drink real quick, hold on. My throat is now restored. So yeah, the gap, it was 2.1 seconds, the gap between 1st and 2nd place. It's now 1.6. Make that 1.5. So yeah, it's coming down slowly, but it all depends really on if YOLO Boy gets a time penalty, and if he does, how much will the time penalty be? If it's 3 seconds, he should be okay. If it's more than that, then that's a different story. But yeah, we'll have to see. This race is not over just yet. Fliniesta is gaining on him, though. You could see just how much he gained, actually, through that first sequence of corners. He didn't get the greatest exit, though, so he's going to lose all that time that he gained. So yeah, YOLO Boy still leads this race. 1.7 seconds to Fliniesta behind him. Then we got a 3.4 second gap to Nick, as you can see there in the background, just behind. Then Luke, oh, yellow flags. That's one of the Mercedes? That's GH Racing, I think. Yeah, he's got damage. He's gone straight on at the bridge, and yeah, right-hand end plate missing. So yeah, it is a struggle at this track in the wet. It's a struggle in the dry, really, but in the wet, it's very, very difficult, especially when you're GH Racing, because he runs no assists. He's probably one of the few drivers in this tier which run no assists. So actually, he does use some. I think he uses line, but other than that, I don't think he uses assists. So yeah, it is a bit of a struggle. Now gets a 3-second time penalty for good measure. So he's going to have his teammate hunting him down like a shark, wading through the water, literally at this point, with the amount of water on track. So yeah, we could have an interesting battle for P7. But to be fair, Mr. Fisby's already within 3 seconds of GH Racing, so he'll get that position anyway. And F1 Union, who I haven't mentioned in a while, he's had a bit of a lonely race. Not the greatest race. He's actually got damage. He's got the same damage as GH Racing. He's got a right-hand end plate missing. So yeah, it's not been a great race for many of the front runners, really. And GH Racing has had another moment there, I think, because Mr. Fisby, he wasn't that close. But now he's almost a second ahead of him. So yeah, GH Racing, it's not going well at the moment. And he slips down to 8th. And he may slip down to 9th on time penalties. So yeah, and I think he's going to have to box. I think he's got way too much damage. If we can get a good shot of his front wing, I think he may have more damage, because it wasn't that bad. And yeah, that's very, very wide through the hairpin. DRS is back enabled, so it stopped raining now. That's interesting. And no, I don't think he's got any more damage, but yeah, it's just the end plate is a very crucial part of the front wing. If you don't have it, you're going to be very, very slow, and GH Racing is living proof of that before your eyes right now. But this will be interesting if we see a crossover back to slicks. So, oh, that was close. Fliniesta was nearly sailing towards a barrier there. But if we have a crossover back to slicks, this could still bring the element of strategy back into the game as we go through the left-hander now. YOLO Boy and Fliniesta is still very much the top 2, with EP Nick now 5.2 seconds behind, who actually had a bit of a tap with the barrier there in the background. But I think he hasn't got damage, so it should be okay. So yeah, through over the bridge we go. But yeah, no opportunities here. But to be fair, Fliniesta, he's got DRS now, so that is going to make it a hell of a lot easier to try and have a go at YOLO Boy and get closer, if he can, to the rear wing of that McLaren. He's not going to be close enough on this occasion as we go through the right-hander, but I dare say he will be very, very soon, because he's been taking time out of YOLO Boy for quite a few laps now. It was 2.1 seconds, then it was 1.5 seconds. It's now 7/10 of a second. Make that 6/10 of a second. So yeah, it's very, very close at the moment between the top 2 runners at the moment. It was looking like it was going to be Flynn versus Lucas. We've ended up with Flynn versus YOLO Boy. aka Armano. So I think that's such a cool name, Armano. And they're actually pitting. So they're pitting for slicks. That's interesting. F1GXL does the same as what YOLO Boy does. So then, that is interesting. And EP Nick does the same. So yeah, it's dried up very, very quickly. I would imagine the rest of the field will follow suit. So yeah, soft's going on for Flynn. Soft's going on for YOLO Boy as well. So yeah, the top 3 in your screen at the moment. YOLO Boy, Flynn, and EP Nick all in the pit lane at the moment. I would imagine everyone else will follow suit. Yeah, Lucas does as well. Now we got yellow flags. Is F1? Yeah, it's F1 Union, who's got damage to the other side of his front wing now, and he's going to have GH Racing problems very, very soon. And actually, these guys have already pitted. So yeah, I'm surprised he's lost it right after his pit stop. So yeah, GH Racing is going to have to be careful with F1 Union right in front of him. He is a bit of a mobile chicane as we go through the chicane. But yeah, GH Racing was cautious enough there to get back ahead of the Alfa Romeo, who is second place in the championship. But it's definitely not been a drive today, which was good. So yeah, F1 Union with damage in 9th place. But I think he won't be dropping any lower than 9th because we got this man here, Kieran, with possibly the most disastrous race of the century. It wasn't going that bad, and then he spun, and then he hit someone, and then he spun again, then he spun again, then he spun again, then he spun again, and then he actually spun again. So yeah, and now he's on inters on a dry track. So yeah, it's definitely not been a good race for Original Blazers. I dare say the only reason he's still going is because he's going to get 1 point for his troubles as Mr. Fisby actually, that's GH Racing flying past. So that just shows how far down he is. He's been lapped by 8th place. As Original Blazers, so yeah, definitely not his race today. As actually YOLO Boy has pulled 2.8 seconds to Flynn now. Every time I think I can predict something in this race, something mad just happens, and now it's like YOLO Boy has almost got enough of a gap to have a 5-second penalty and still win. So yeah, this is absolutely mad. Bryony is in the chat. Bryony would be racing with us today, but unfortunately he's not because he's got, I think it was a barbecue he went to. That's why he's not racing. He says YOLO Boy is a runner, he's a track star. He's going to run away when it gets dry. And yeah, he was right. It's now 2.1 seconds the gap between Flynn and YOLO Boy. And he is extending that gap. Actually, it's gone down slightly there. Not the best. The best time to point out that he was gaining on him, but yeah, now Flynn is going to have traffic in front of him, which is Original Blazers, who's actually an AI, so no trouble there getting ahead of the racing point. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, this has been for a 10 drivers running round, or technically 9 because Original Blazers isn't really driving. This has been alright, I think. It hasn't. There's been incidents. There's been 1 or 2 incidents, but overall for Singapore, this has been all right with 4 laps to go. So yeah. Anything else happening? Everyone else is in a bit of no man's land. So the only battle we've really got is for the lead. As Original Blazers, yeah, getting lapped by EP Nick now, as well. So yeah, everyone's by themselves. Wake me up if something happens. I'll have a look at the Discord, see if anyone's angry with anyone. Let me have a look. Right then, okay, so Flynn is now gaining on YOLO Boy. I look away for 2 seconds and now he's all over the back of YOLO Boy. Like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, Flynn, he's got DRS on YOLO Boy now, thank you. Someone in the Discord, actually, I was on Discord doing stewarding, and someone, I won't say who, GXL Cobra, pointed out that YOLO Boy was within a second of Flynn now, so yeah, I'm back, I'm commentating, I'm watching the race. So yeah, we're coming on to the penultimate lap of this race, and the top 2 are separated by 4 What? Where has Nick come from? Nick is now within a shot of this now. The top 3 are all in the same sector of the track. Like, what the hell? How I wasn't looking for 1 second and this has happened. So yeah. Okay, so Flynn is still within a shot of winning this, at least on track, or if YOLO Boy gets a time penalty for either track limits or an after race time penalty. So let's see how this one plays out. Let's see, what are the ERSs like? They're pretty even at the moment. So what about Nick? Nick has got more ERS than both of these drivers in front. Fliniesta pulls over to the right-hand side and tries to swoop round the outside of YOLO Boy. That'll be a very impressive move if he can make it stick. He can't quite get it stick, and he runs slightly wide there and ruins his drive off the corner. Now Nick is trying to go round the outside of Fliniesta, and he's trying to get involved in this battle as well. Are they still side by side? Yeah, I think they are actually. Yeah, they are. And Nick is now up into 2nd place. Look at this battle. Fliniesta trying to come back at EP Nick. Can't quite get it done. Now Nick's trying to have a go at YOLO Boy for the lead. He's going to go from 3rd to 1st. And yes, he is. EP Nick now takes the lead of the GXL Tier 2 Singapore Grand Prix. And Fliniesta follows him through, has contact with YOLO Boy. YOLO Boy's gone from 1st to 3rd. EP Nick's gone from 3rd to 1st. What on earth just happened there? Oh my lord. So now EP Nick leads this race. Fliniesta is 2nd, but Nick has got about 20 gazillion, like he's got about basically an hour of time penalties at this point, so he's not going to win. So at the moment, it's going to be YOLO Boy still on time penalties, as long as he can stay within 3 seconds of Fliniesta in front of him. So we'll have to see, and I believe F1 Unit's going slowly as again. Yes, he is. He's been overtaken by Lucas. So yeah. My God, this is like, and now Nick is pulling away. Like this has been a seesaw basically. One driver does well, the other driver does well. One driver does well, the other driver does well. Fliniesta has just about managed to keep within DRS of EP Nick, so that will help him with his gap to YOLO Boy right behind him. So if YOLO Boy cannot get any more time penalties on this final lap, he can still take this, but we'll have to see if he can still do so as we go through the right-hander now. Will Fliniesta have a go at EP Nick? He's using all his overtake, and Nick is running low as well because he's got that red light flashing, but Fliniesta is just not quite close enough. He's very late on the brakes, but not late enough. And EP Nick stays ahead for the time being. What about YOLO Boy? YOLO Boy's dropped off like hell. How on earth has that happened? He was leading and he was gaining, and now he's not gaining, and now he's last, pretty much. Well, not last. Last in this top 3. Has he got damage, I wonder? It doesn't look like he's got damage, as this is a very good overhead angle. But it is difficult to spot if he has damage. I don't think he does. I think I can just about see his end plate. So yeah. Oh, Fliniesta into the wall! What? Oh no! Fliniesta's hit the wall and he's got another 3-second time penalty. And now, even if YOLO Boy gets a time penalty off track, I think he can still take this as long as he finishes within 1 second of Fliniesta, because I don't think he'll get 10 seconds for spinning round Chicken Rosary at the beginning of this race. So at the moment, you're going to be watching YOLO Boy win for the first time in GXL Tier 2. EP Nick is going to win the race on track, his first win on track in GXL Tier 2. He rounds the final corner, he wins, the fireworks are there. Fliniesta is going to win for 1 second, but it's going to be YOLO Boy who takes the win on track by 5.016 seconds, which means even if he gets a 5-second time penalty, he will have won this race, unless he gets 10 seconds, which will be kind of anticlimactic if he does, but oh well. YOLO Boy, your race winner then, F1GXL P2, EP rounds out the podium. I would not have expected that top 3 at the start of this race. Lucas comes home for P4. He could have won this race, but it's just not gone his way. Josh, on his Tier 2 debut, he takes P5 ahead of his teammate, the Magma Beast in P6. Then come the 2 Mercedes, Mr. Fistfee, and then GH Racing. He's a long way behind, but he's still going to get points for his troubles. Original Blazers, he's going to get P10. F1 Union with a lap down as well. He's P9. So, and GH Racing will be P8. And that is it. Well then, like, that was mad. That was kind of mad. So we're just waiting for GH Racing to finish, and then I'll go through the results. So then, YOLO Boy takes the win today ahead of F1GXL. EP rounds out the top 3 ahead of Lucas in P4. Josh on his Tier 2 debut P5 ahead of his teammate Magma Beast in P6. Then to come the 2 Mercedes P7 and P8 for Mr. Fistfee and GH Racing 1. F1 Union P9, Original Blazers rounds out the top 10. VSL Spen P11, Sharky P12, Shiv Zangani 13th ahead of Chicken Rosary and Carbro, who was disqualified on the first lap of the race. Thank you all for watching GXL Tier 2. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time, at the same track for Tier 1. So have a good evening and take care. Bye-bye.